Hi everybody, so today we're going to do a video on the awakening and what is it pretty much and what is it to you. So I know so many people who are in the spiritual world and in this, metaphysical world tend to hear this term a lot, the awakening, or I'm having an awakening. And I want to break it down to you guys in a very, very much more simple form that tends to get very convoluted and confused and complicated into all these types of ideas of what an awakening is. So here it is. An awakening to me, again, and I always say to me, is really as simple as a state of awareness of remembering who you are and where you came from. So it's the idea of coming to clarity that there's a realm within this realm. So as we see, things are not really as they appear. So there's a table and there's a chair and there's your life and there's food and all these very tangible things, but behind that there's a magical world. And an awakening to me, and from what I've come to understand in my path and communicating to that realm, is a world behind a world. So people who say they're having an awakening, or people who kind of feel like something is happening, sometimes people don't even have the terminology for it or the words for it, and they're just like, something I feel is different and things are changing in my life, that things aren't the same, I can't look at people the same, I can't deal with life the same, so I'm going through something and I can't put my finger on it. And I get this a lot where people are saying, I'm starting to kind of know things or feel things, and my life and what used to be very satisfactory to me and pleasing is no longer that way. I'm starting to crave or experience or be aware of something else. The clinging is my little kitty eating, so no paranormal things going on, as much as I know exciting that would be. But yeah, so my feeling is that what happens a lot is that people give you all kinds of books and videos and all kinds of things to watch of, like, if if these things are happening, you're going through awakening, which can be helpful. And those things are helpful. Probably what's not helpful is, this is what you need to do to start your awakening, or this is what you need to do to keep your awakening going. And that can get complicated, and that can kind of sound like, not only a lot of work, which is fine because we need to do the work, of course, but it almost is kind of giving an instructional booklet on an awakening. And an awakening is really something you're feeling here and something you're feeling here. It's not something you're reading and getting instructions about or need instructions about. So if you're feeling like suddenly you're kind of becoming more aware of things that you weren't aware of, energies or people's energy, or kind of remembering like, yeah, I kind of remember this when I was a kid and kind of feel like I already know this. I feel like there's something more. I'm not satisfied with my work. I feel like there's something more I want to do. That's the awakening, is also connected to this collective consciousness. And I'll do another video on that. And the collective consciousness is the idea that we are all going through something similar. Maybe the circumstances and how and all the details of it are different, but realizing, I think I'm a part of something greater, much, much greater than just my little sphere. So most of the time in this realm, we operate from whatever's happening to you is happening to you, whatever's happening to me is happening to me, and we don't really see the correlation. Whereas the awakening starts to realize, I'm servicing you, you're servicing me, the person bringing a glass of water, the person who cleans up the blood at the hospital, the person who is your waitress, makes your coffee, does your nails, is your doctor, is your lawyer, is your teacher, the principal, everybody in this planet is doing a service for each other. Now, obviously, you can get into a whole thing of, okay, there's some people that are just only servicing themselves and that's all they care for, and that is correct. The awakening is realizing you don't want to go that path. You're realizing, I don't want to just do something that's only servicing me or benefiting me. And I don't mean you have to suddenly, join some, cult like thing, or you have to go to the highest top of the mountain and give up all of your belongings, or you have to write out a check to a charity. That's not what I mean at all. What I mean is you're realizing that your calling and what you beamed into this planet to do is part of the bigger picture of the circle and the sphere that kind of comes between you, me, and the other people, and that we're all intertwined, and we're providing energy, we're providing experiences, we're helping, we're relieving, we're mirroring each other constantly, versus to the idea of, well, whatever happens to me, and if it doesn't affect my world, then I'm just kind of not my problem. And awakening, you can't shake this feeling of that doesn't sit right. And yes, we kind of know this to a certain level, like we understand that we want to do good and we understand we want to be kind people and all this, but this goes beyond this. This goes to the appreciation of, oh my goodness, this person, brought my coffee. This person created music. They created movies. They created paintings. They created a game. They built a house. They make clothes. There is no hierarchy at all in that realm. And it's becoming to the awareness of, why do we live in this hierarchy of greater than, lower than? And that's to say, it happens in the spiritual community, where people kind of take on this role of, I am more evolved, I'm more aware, I'm much more on this higher level than you, and we interpret that as actually better than. And the other realm doesn't operate that way. It is everyone serving a purpose and is equally needed and is equally important. It's just different roles. Someone may say, listen, I don't want to battle, a spiritual warfare, but I will, provide comic relief, and I will provide you laughter as a release, and I will take you out of your, out of your troubles, even if it's for like an hour. And that is my energy I'm bringing to the world as a comedian. I'm wearing this shirt that some of you may recognize this game. Let's see, where is it? This. Yes, it's this, Fortnite. And yes, I'm a spiritual person, and yes, I do all this stuff, but I also believe in balance and being of this world. And it kind of is a grounding experience. It kind of takes me out of all this stuff, as it does a lot of people. Someone created it, someone put it out to the world, and yes, things can get corrupted in these spheres of life, meaning like through entertainment and things, and lawyers and doctors and everybody can have corruption where they take what they're trying to give to the world as a gift, and people exploit it, and people take it to a different level. And that's kind of what we're trying to go through with the awakening, is how can we accept and be appreciative of all the types of things that people are bringing into the world, and how do we not go into ego and absorb it where it's about us, and it's about how important we are and how important our role is. And that's where there's a divide between this world and the other, because the other has the collective whole and the collective consciousness of understanding whatever's happening to you is happening to me. I'm more than happy to do the role I'm doing because I know it's feeding into the whole sphere of life. We start off sometimes like this, and we definitely start off this as children, and ego starts to come in, and insecurity start to come in, and fears, and this feeling of trying to get higher, 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 and lots of times rule over and oppress. And so the awakening is breaking free of those chains of oppression and the idea of that's what happiness is the more I can rule over, the more power I can have over people, the more important people see me being, all of that stuff, then I'll truly be in this higher place. And even people who are trying to come from a good intention, and they start off in this good intention of, even in the spiritual world, and many of you who are light workers, as people call them, or healers, but pretty much you don't need all these titles. It's really just people who are just trying to connect, and we're just trying to unlock people. We're trying to wake people up. And the awakening and people who are doing this kind of work, our job is to just unlock, pretty much like wake up, and then send you on your way. So in other words, spiritual leaders, healers, seers, all these people are just here to take the key and remind you you've had the key the whole time. Let me help you unlock it and help you to remember who you are, where you came from, and what you're capable of rising to if you so choose. Not to say follow me, not to say follow this, not to do this or that, and also be of the people. And that's what this was representing. Be of the people, not to act above the people. And so as you go through this awakening, and as you start to kind of remember who you are, remember home, and where you come from, and where we go to, and what you're connected to, remember this. It's easy to find peace and joy on a mountaintop, but it's very hard to find it in the middle of chaos. And our job is to, as all people, is to be of the world and be with the people, but to be able to find that connection to home and to the other realm and to each other within. So don't worry about going and I have to go to this ashram, I have to go to this yoga retreat, I have to go away, I have to meditate for 10 hours, I have to be a vegan, I have to do this, I have to do that, to do. That's not what getting you to this place is about. It is not about doing those things. It's about staying awake, staying aware, staying conscious to what you're doing, how you're connecting, even when you're angry, even when you're frustrated. The other part of it is to remember you're not alone, and there's a collective whole trying to help you and say, see the world behind the world. See the realm behind the realm. It's just like a slit, like a cut in energy, and behind that is another realm. Same with the spirit world and all of that. It's a world within this world. It's not up, it's not down, it's not far away, it's not right here. It's in existence, kind of embedded basically into the world that you're living in. And so that is pretty much what this awakening is, literally like a honeymoon period of a very exciting time where you're finally going, I really starting to remember who I am, and I'm really starting to remember what I'm connected to. So as you go to this journey, listen to what you need to listen to, me, others, read things, find whatever is interesting to you. Oh, I like this, I like yoga, I like Reiki, I like crystals, I like Hinduism, whatever, and you take a little bit of what works and put it into your little pot, and you discard what you feel doesn't resonate. Listen to this, and listen to yourself, and you do what works for you. Your friend can go on and on and on how great being a vegan is, or on and on about how much they love oils, and if they don't resonate with you, it may not be that they'll never resonate, it just may not be where you're at that place, and it's not higher or lower. How that realm looks at it, like you wouldn't look at a kindergartner and get upset with a kindergartner because you wouldn't look down or say that they're not as smart as you or that you're better than them because you're an adult and you understand math. You would just very kindly say, okay, that's just the place you're at, and that's how that realm looks at it, and it may get to a time where you're going to have a conscious and an understanding. There are no levels, it's a state of understanding. That's the unlocking. Oh, I understand, you know, adding. Oh, now I understand subtracting. Oh, now I understand multiplying. And that's how it is with an awakening. Oh, I'm starting to understand this, that led me to this, and now that's unlocking this, and it's unlocking this. And that's why you have to follow your own truth, your own vibration of what works for you. So just try not to get caught up in what have to, not have to. Don't get caught up in all that. So I'm going to leave you with this. Follow yourself. Follow what feels good to you. Question everything and look into everything. Explore everything. But also listen to your intuition and listen to what just feels right. And you know when it feels right. And enjoy this part of the journey. I'll do some other videos of kind of this subject matter of, you know, as you kind of are going through the honeymoon period and what happens kind of after the honeymoon period, and I'll do these in segments. But like I've said before in other videos, that there's so much subject matter to cover that I really want to do I want to cut it down to subject matter at a time, so people aren't overwhelmed. And I want to thank you for joining me today. I'm trying to do a video every Monday for your week and Friday for your weekend, to give you something to maybe listen to and contemplate and maybe even utilize. You can follow me, Adela Levine, on here on all social media. Instagram, I post a lot too. And remember to listen to yourself, follow self, keep all of this open here, but also keep your feet planted on the ground. So have fun, eat, sleep, enjoy the things you enjoy. You don't have to give up all of your life. You need to be of this world and of the other world. As they say, as above as below. Keep your connection to the higher realm as you keep your feet planted into the ground. Thank you so much. See you soon.